Hey guys, Preview here. In this video we're going to recreate these iOS app screens in Figma. Now this is our part of an amazing AI UI kit that you can find on UI8 called Brainwave. But now without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial. Alright, so let's get started creating the very first screen, which is going to be the base for the entire project. So we're going to go over here and select the phone, and I'm going to go with 375 pixels, which is the iPhone 8 in this case, of width, since this is going to be a good width for a phone basically screen. So let's go ahead and we're going to create the very first elements. But before we do that, one thing that I like to do when it comes to structuring the mobile workflow is to have a layout grid. So I'm going to set up two columns right here, just like that. I'm going to add just a little bit of margins on the side. Not too much, because we really want to maximize the amount of screen state, especially since due to the constraints of mobile. But we're going to set up something around these lines with a very light two-column layout in order to fill in the gaps if you wish. So let's go ahead and add the very first element, which is going to be a small icon, and we're going to use a color which is quite neutral. In the original it's this one right here, or actually let's go over here and add it. For some reason it's not catching up, so I'm simply going to go over here and add it again. And we're going to add two rectangles which are going to work as a hamburger menu. So let's go and do that. I'm going to make this quite dark and group them together, and we're going to select all of this and make it into an auto layout. This one's going to be the icon or the main menu. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a ellipse of the same size, but it's going to be outside of this menu item. And we are going to use Unsplash in order to find a portrait icon or portrait image in order to basically get the main image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go here under portrait, then I'm going to select this one here, since it's quite a good image for this space, and I'm going to crop it so that it's going to be right here. And right after that, what we're gonna do is we're going to add the main text. So hello, then Derek Doyle. Now let's check the typography in the original, which is Inter, and it's going to be bold. So we already have this selected. Inter, by the way, is a font that you can download via the Google Web Fonts, so it's rightly available there. We're going to decrease just a bit the letter spacing, just to have that nice compact effect, similar to the ones that you would find in Swiss designs. And yeah, we're probably going to have it around these lines. I'm actually going to bring these elements significantly down in the interface, and that is working up pretty well. So let's write in all types. I'm going to make this text significantly smaller, and probably we're going to go with semi-bold. And let's duplicate this using Command D just a few times. I'm going to write in images, videos, content. Going to bring it here. Going to distribute horizontally, and in this one I'm actually going to make it a tag. So I'm going to make it black, bring it all the way down, This one's going to be white. We're going to center this, use the auto layout, and round it up all the way. Okay, so far this is looking pretty interesting, and we're going to add the elements below, which are going to essentially be cards. So I'm going to, actually let's just create one, and then we're going to basically adjust the rest. So I'm actually going to copy the image, the original one. So let's actually grab one of these elements right here, and I'm actually going to simply copy the image. Again, you can go on Unsplash and find very similar images. You can search for something like abstract. You're going to find plenty of them. And we're also going to copy this element right here. Now, how do you create this element from scratch? You might be wondering, since of course I'm copying directly, but I'm going to give you a full breakdown. So we go under polygons. You can create a polygon, which is going to be a triangle. And at this point, you can simply increase the number of counts, so the edges in the polygon. Then you can simply add a stroke around it, which is going to yield the same effect. Give it a little bit of radius, and you have that exact element. So very easy. And then the icons. For icons, I use two icon libraries, either Nucleo, so I can write in code and I can find something, an icon somewhat similar to it. I can drag and drop it. So Nucleo icons, definitely a great one. Or alternatively, when I need even more choice, I would use Noun Project, since the choice is pretty much endless. The only drawback, if you wish, is that you have all sorts of different styles, so you really need to be sure that there is a level of consistency within the icons that you add in your design projects. Otherwise, you're going to basically mess up the consistency. And ideally, you want to have only one main icon library for a given project, so that it's easy and consistent to implement each and every time. This is usually what I do in the vast majority of my client projects. That being said, let's go over here and let's add the text, which is going to be this one right here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Oops, not too big. Something around these lines is going to work. Again, we're not going there pixel by pixel, but we want to understand the base concepts and we want to apply this in a way which makes sense in a scalable way. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to bring in this other icon, this other image, and I'm going to give it a little bit of corner radius on the top, to change this color up to something which resembles more of a lighter purple color. And I'm going to go over here and add this icon. Let's change the text. And here we go. All right. Now at this point we need to add the subheadline, favorites, and I'm going to make this a bit bigger. And on the right hand side, going to left line, right CO. This one just a bit smaller. Let's make this around a light blue color, and that should do. Okay, now we're going to add a rectangle. Going to round it up quite a bit, and we're going to add over here location feedback. Let's make it smaller. For here it's going to be 1 min ago. And this one's going to be smaller since we don't need as much visual emphasis, as well as in a lighter gray color for the exact same reason. Going to make it medium, and then we are going to add these elements right here, which or simply portraits, which you can find on Unsplash, and it's just one circle with a stroke applied to it right after the other. So as you can see, just a stroke, and it creates this nice effect when you put them all the way together. So I'm going to copy the other image as well, and we have the base for this element. Now I can auto layout all these. I can auto layout these two, and then these two guys. I can bring this one here. It's going to work, and I'm going to change this to code generation, and let's add the different image if it copies. And for some reason it's not copying the correct image as I'd like to. Okay, let me just do one thing. I'm actually going to remove the auto layout for a moment. I'm simply going to copy this one. Okay, like this it's working. And I think the reason why this wasn't working is because the previous design file wasn't selected, but not a big deal. Code generation, and we're good to go. Now I'm going to simply go ahead and copy the bottom menu, but again, as always, I want to show you how this was created. Since we have a lot of screens to cover, I just want to basically avoid things which I don't think are essential or really useful to learn. But just to dissect this is extremely simple. You create a rectangle, you round it up all the way, make it black, you copy and paste another element, which is going to be, or actually the same element. You just make this a circle, which you make it white, and then you simply add all of the individual icons within this element. You distribute it horizontally on the top, and you're going to have this very nice looking menu icon or menu item. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to duplicate the screen since it's going to be just useful to have the base going. And what I'm gonna do in this one is I'm going to actually keep the same base for this one, and I'm going to delete the hamburger because we need to create the search icon. So I'm actually going to use this as a reference to basically have a new rectangle, which I'm going to round up all the way. This ellipse is going to go, or actually I think we still can have it as a reference, since yeah, should be right here. So let's just try and match it overall so that it's consistent. I'm actually going to pick up the same color, and now this one can go. So we're trying to match vertically on the same lines the search bar, and now I'm going to pick up the text, add it over here. As you can see, we have this issue. So there's a few ways that we can go around it. The easiest one in this case is just the absolute position, so I can simply click in and make it absolute, and I'm probably going to just increase this a couple times. I'm going to reduce the opacity overall, and I'm going to simply add a search icon right here, same issue, absolute positioning, and we can easily solve it. Ideally, you can also create a auto layout within, and then you auto layout all of it, but just for the sake of this example, we're going to go with this option as it's just a bit faster. And now let's go ahead and add all the individual images. So first one is this one right here, and I'm going to grab one of these tags. This one's going to be Superman cartoon. I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to select this element right here, Option Command C, Option Command V to copy and paste the style. And 10 minutes ago. All right, now I'm going to copy this again one more time. Let's bring this one right here. And I'm going to change this, actually let's just leave it as it is. I'm going to copy and paste the image. And we're going to copy and paste this one as well. Hopefully, if it's working. All right, and now we can group these together just to make our lives easier. We can duplicate this one more time, bring all of it down. And now I'm simply going to copy and paste these items, paste it right here, and paste it right here. Perfect. So we have also our second screen. Now let's move on to the third screen, which is going to be in case our result doesn't yield any results. So let's see how that plays out. I'm going to write here something. This one's going to be dark, and I'm also going to add a line. Again, let's do this, and with the line, it's basically giving the user a clue that there is something that they're typing in, and we're also going to have a close icon, just in case they quickly want to delete this. And we are going to write some text. It's going to be all the way here. No search results. Check spelling or try new search. All right. Going to increase this just a bit. And this one right here. And I'm going to add this nice illustration, which is included in the kit. Alternatively, one thing that you can do is to find an illustration or even generate it with tools like Midjourney, and that's going to be really useful. And I'm also adding a few dots and this nice gradient on the background. So as you can see, these are very small touches which literally bring this element to life. So really nice. And I'm actually also going to add the keyboard. So we are good to go. We are going to essentially continue with the next one, which is going to be this right here. So I'm going to add the text, unlock the power of AI, and I'm going to use Control Command Spacebar in order to access the emoji. I'm going to add this emoji right here. So as you can see, it adds this nice touch to it. Let's bring this one here. We're going to have a few items. So the very first one, I'm going to copy this text. It's going to be favorites. Let's make it a bit smaller. We're going to add an arrow. All right. And I'm going to copy the style of this. See all. And the second element is going to be the chat list, which is essentially going to have a few different icons. And let's just dissect the UX of these for a moment. So this one is likely going to be the list view, so regular list view. This one's going to be more of a cards view, so you can toggle between one and another. And this is a great UX practice because some users prefer going through the list view, other ones like to go with the card view. The list view is also easier to scan for data, so sometimes the same user might want a list view and other times a card view depending on the amount of data and they want to basically go through. And this one is going to be a plus, same call to action color. So as you can see, the consistency within that, it's also very, very important in UX. We're going to round this up just a bit and I'm going to create a copy of this and before we continue, I'm going to add a stroke. And let's make this one quite light. And we are essentially going to go ahead and add, first of all, the number here on the right, and then the text of the card right here below. The number is going to be quite bigger since we want to attract visual emphasis. And we essentially need to duplicate these guys right here. So very easy. Again, this one is an emoji, just as we seen. So Control Command Spacebar to prompt the emoji menu. Then you copy the color and this one should work. Maybe the emoji can be a bit bigger. And here we go. Let's adapt the size of these. Going to group it, duplicate it again. And let's simply adjust the text. Okay, let's copy the various emojis. Oops. Okay, this one's the same. And this one has this color. All right, so we have the menu below. And we're at a good point. We are just missing one screen. So let's go ahead and let's create it. So I'm going to duplicate it right here. Suggestions. Let's make it smaller. I'm going to add an arrow icon. All right, so more or less we're going to be around here. Now let's delete these elements. I'm going to grab these one more time again. I'm going to add these as the very first step. Group them together. Distribute horizontally. And all right. Let's right align all of these. And going to be a bit smaller. Color is going to be this one here. All right, let's add this item, which, by the way, these items you can get from iOS kits on Figma community. So you can simply go on Figma community, search for iOS, and as it loads up, you're going to find all sorts of different iOS kits. So you can simply download them and you can leverage these iOS items. So this is pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and check out the original UI kit. I'm going to leave a link in the description for UI 8, and I'll see you in the very next one.